start this episode, we head into Derby, which would be our first stop. Located on the north side of town is the Jetty. This place experiences the biggest tidal range in Australia, up to an incredible 12 metres. It's apparently a great place to go fishing, but you need to check the tides. The best times to visit are 2 to 3 hours on either side of high tide. They tell us you can catch mud crabs, catfish, sharks, salmon and the occasional barramundi, but be careful of crocodiles.
Here we are again on the Derby Wharf. Jetty. It's got some water in it this time. Nearly every other time we've come this has all been mud, hasn't it?
Yes.
The jetty has an interesting history. Its current structure was built in the early 1960s, which replaced a wooden jetty from 1885, and back then was used for the export of live cattle.
There you go. Well, we've had a quick trip out to the jetty, had a look at the water coming in. It absolutely rips in out there. It's absolutely stunning. And of course you can't come to Derby and not come and have a quick look at the prison tree. It's all fenced off now, but yeah, so some of our dark history.
The baobabs are in flower, which is unusual, a late wet. Lollipop time. These are what keeps him going. See? Now it's going to take me 10 minutes to get it unwrapped. And here is the finished product. It's a bit bent because I had to work on it a little bit.
We made it into Broome, and the Cable Beach Holiday Park would be home for the next 3 days. As soon as we were sorted, we headed to the beach to take in a sunset from the famous Cable Beach. We were all itching to get back on the road, so a quick stop to pick up some last minute bits and we were on our way. The Dampier Peninsula, here we come.
So we have just made the turn onto Minari Road, heading up to James Price Point. John's just about to air down the tyres because it's probably some soft sandy sections.
Here we go again, ladies. Add to the adventure.
number plate and light just being held on by a strap because the rivets have popped out.
Well, what do you say? We are on the west coast of Australia, and this is the view outside the door this morning. To quote a cliche, it doesn't get much better than this. Absolutely stunning this morning. We had a sea fog in early, and obviously everything's really damp, but it's going to burn away, or it's nearly all burn away now. Sea's flat, we've got an incoming tide. Might end up even having a bit of a fish a little bit later on this morning. Water comes up over those rocks. There's Mrs. Elizabeth, she's down there checking out the shells. We've already got a bit of a collection, odd ones that we don't see on the east coast, so she's making the most of that. Bloody awesome.
We spent several days in this beautiful location here on the beach. We fished the incoming tides, casting lines into the choppy sea, then retrieving our lures when the tide went out. Seashells lay scattered like tiny treasures glittering in the sunlight. Some were whole, perfect spirals, others were worn smooth by the ocean's endless beating. The rock formations nearby were like sculptures, carved over centuries by wind and waves. Some looked like ancient castles, others like sleeping giants. We watched as this figure appeared on the northern beach, growing larger and larger as time went on. When he eventually reached us, he was exhausted. He'd walk kilometre after kilometre to get help, as their vehicle was bogged on the beach around the headland with the tide looming closer. I gathered up the troops and we set off to see if we could help. Once we arrived, we could see the severity of the conditions. I decided the winch was the best option, giving us more control. After unhooking the boat trailer, we eventually removed the Ranger from the sand, then the trailer, moving them above the high tide mark out of harm's way. The Ranger had suffered from water ingress and failed to start, so we transported the owner back to camp where he could use Starling to contact the relevant personnel to get him, his mates and the vehicles back to Broome.
Another breakfast, another location, Kenny. A short drive up from our camp, we find this little oasis. We actually found it the day we came up to help old mate out when he was bogged. And so happens that it's pristine, and we've been waiting for the low tide so we can do a little bit of fossicking along the low water mark. And this morning was the morning. We've had woke up about sort of 6 o'clock and it's a really low tide, so we've tore up, brought a bit of breakfast with us. We're going to do that. There is a little lagoon that's cut off to the sea and to the rivulet. We had a bit of a swim in it yesterday, so we'll probably have a swim in that before we head back to camp. Another amazing day in paradise.
Is there any crabs?
Yeah, if you stand still long enough, bury your toes in the sand, a lot of you start nipping at you.
Do they?
Floatable end, is that correct?
Yes.
Inflatable end on it.
So I can't lose it. What a beautiful shelter. And this is just up from the beach that we were just on. Amazing. And there's an old bed. Someone brought their old bed up here and left it here. There's a table here. There's some shelves, a buoy. Yep, just beautiful.
Well, we've just been sitting here having a bit of afternoon tea, and I looked under the car and noticed there was a bit of a shadow. on further investigations, we've actually got a leak. So it's leaking from the long range fuel tank, unfortunately, and I don't know, it's up, it seems to be up the top. It's just a weep at this stage. We did fill it, we filled them both up when we were in Broome. So what I'm going to have to do is switch onto this tank and use some of the fuel out of it and just monitor it. It looks like it's leaking from way up the top. Not happy, Jan. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see what the story is, but more importantly, I'll just, yeah, as I said, I'll switch over tanks. We'll use that auxiliary tank tomorrow and get it down, and then I'll wipe it and see again if it's stopped weeping, and then we'll go from there. Couldn't be nearly further from home at the moment, so that's not good. But it's not a game changer really. It's just not a catastrophe because we can use the other fuel tank, but it's just inconvenience of it. All right, we'll let you know how we get on. Cheers. So this is the part of the day that we wait for every single day, sunset. And they don't get any better than the Kimberleys and the coast of Western Australia. Just have a look at this. How good is that? Alright, another day is about done. We're having pizzas tonight. Pizza night. Everybody's getting their bits and pieces together. We've got the Webbers all lined up like little tin soldiers, and Webbers, probably an ale, and finish off with a nice little red wine. Right guys, we'll see you in the morning. Cheers.
Driving down to Quandong Point.
Today we went off to do some exploring, wanting to check out other campsites that are available in the area. This included Quandong Point and Bard Creek.
Camping on the ocean side of Bard Creek. Lots of caravans in here. Yeah, beautiful spot though.
For them makes it
Then it was back to camp to find some shade and a cool drink. By the end of the week, the beach felt like it was part of us. Our footprints joined the others like crabs and seabirds, a memory etched in the sand. When it was finally time to leave, we packed slowly, taking one last walk to where the waves kissed the shore, promising ourselves we'd return someday.
James Price Point, done, dusted. What a fantastic spot. We've spent a few days up here, swimming, mucking around, reading books, just enjoying our friends' company.
Yes.
We've had an awesome time. Yesterday went for a bit of a drive, snuck down the coast, checked out a few of the other spots, and we're pretty happy with where we've camped.
Yes.
Absolutely. We had a shark come and visited this morning, scurried around. Flies have turned up. Scurrying around the shallows, looking for something to eat. So I think it's time we moved on.
Yeah.
We weren't swimming here today.
No.
For sure. So we're heading into Broome, got a restock, and then down to Barn Hill.
Barn Hill Station.
Yeah, we're going to go down and have a look at that. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Ducked into Broome for a day after leaving James Price Point. We've been up there for a couple of days, so we needed to resupply. And now we're just driving into Barn Hill Station. Never been there before, so this will be interesting to see what it's like. It's a caravan park and station, working cattle station, and we've got a couple of gates that we've got to go through.
Shut the gate even if another car's approaching.
Yep. What are you doing this morning, John?
Well, it's getting close to when we separate from these guys, and we did tell them that we'd do boats for breakfast. So I'm preparing more boats than I've ever prepared before. So yeah, that's what we're doing this morning, Liz.
We promised ourselves a breakfast beer, so it seemed quite appropriate on our second last day together that this should be that morning. Sorry, no images of the finished boats, they all got eaten. As the sign said, welcome to Barn Hill Beachside Station Stay. It is conveniently located only 9 kilometres off the Great Northern Highway, and you would never imagine paradise could be this easy to get to. The road was unsealed but in pretty good condition. It is situated within the Thangu station, one of the few beef cattle stations in the Kimberleys that's still family owned and operated. Here you can experience the unique part of the breathtaking Kimberley, as their caravan park is the gateway to more than 50 kilometres of pristine, untouched, rugged coastline lined by the heavenly blue Indian Ocean.
What better way to finish this episode and this series but at Barn Hill Station. So tomorrow we turn around, we poke our noses east and work our way back home. But we've had an absolutely sensational time, haven't we, Liz?
Yes, we have. It's been very enjoyable travelling with other companions.
Yeah, something totally different for us. We're normally on our own, but just to travel with people, absolutely awesome. Great company. We've had an absolute ball. So guys, thanks for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this series, and we'll see you guys down the road. Don't forget, don't let the dust settle.
Bye for now.
A special thank you to our friends that made this trip so special.